The story opens with Kate Coleman experiencing a vivid and terrifying nightmare. She is in a hospital, bleeding heavily as doctors rush her into surgery. She gives birth to a stillborn child, and the haunting image of her lifeless baby overwhelms her. Kate wakes up in terror, shaken by the trauma. This tragic loss defines much of her life, as she is a recovering alcoholic still fighting her inner demons. She and her husband John are trying to rebuild their marriage and family life while caring for their two children, Daniel, a boy who is rebellious, and Max, their little daughter who is deaf but incredibly sweet and expressive with her sign language. Although their family appears stable on the surface, the weight of grief and the cracks in their relationship are always present. Kate longs to fill the void left by her unborn child. Believing that adopting a child might help heal the family and bring joy back into their home, she convinces John to visit an orphanage. At the orphanage, while John chats with the staff, Kate wanders through and hears the sound of a piano. Following the music, she finds a young girl, 9 years old, painting in a room by herself.
My name is Esther.
She is polite, articulate, and highly intelligent for her age. She speaks with a strange European accent, dresses in old-fashioned clothes, and wears ribbons around her wrists and neck. She seems unusually mature and composed, not like the other children. Kate and John are immediately charmed. Esther presents herself as kind, talented, and almost angelic. The Colemans decide to adopt her, feeling certain she is meant to be part of their family. When Esther comes home, everyone tries to adjust. Max is delighted and bonds quickly with her new sister. Daniel, however, feels threatened and uneasy. He does not trust Esther and notices details that others ignore. Kate is initially hopeful, but as time goes on, she begins to see signs that something about Esther is very wrong. Esther's behavior is unusual. She insists on wearing makeup, dressing like she is from another era, and never takes off the ribbons tied tightly around her neck and wrists. When other children tease her for her appearance, Esther reacts with disturbing coldness. At school, when a classmate mocks her, she pushes the girl off a high slide, breaking her ankle. The school considers it an accident, but Kate knows it was intentional. At home, Esther proves manipulative. She lies without hesitation, twists situations to her advantage, and cleverly convinces John that Kate is simply paranoid. John, who tries to see the best in people, begins to grow frustrated with Kate's constant suspicion. Meanwhile, Esther grows more attached to him. She seeks his attention constantly, clinging to him while treating Kate as a rival. This dynamic fuels tension in the household. Daniel becomes more hostile, openly accusing Esther of being a freak. Esther retaliates by subtly threatening him, terrifying him into silence. A chilling moment occurs when the family comes across a wounded pigeon. John suggests putting it out of its misery, but Daniel refuses. Esther, without hesitation, crushes the bird's head with a rock. Daniel is horrified, while Esther shows no remorse, almost as if she enjoyed it. Kate grows increasingly unsettled. Sister Abigail, a nun from the orphanage, visits the family to check on Esther's adjustment. During her visit, she warns Kate and John that trouble seems to follow Esther. She recalls unusual incidents that happened in the orphanage whenever Esther was involved. Her tone is careful but firm. Something is not right with the girl. On her way home, however, Sister Abigail is ambushed by Esther on a deserted road. With cold precision, Esther bludgeons her to death with a hammer. She then forces Max, who witnessed the act, to help her hide the evidence. Max is terrified and traumatized, but Esther manipulates her into silence with threats, telling her that if she ever tells, bad things will happen to her and her family. As the days pass, Esther's sinister side emerges more clearly. She isolates Max, intimidates Daniel, and plays innocent whenever John is around. Daniel becomes determined to prove she is dangerous. He sneaks into the treehouse to search for clues and finds evidence that links Esther to Sister Abigail's disappearance. But Esther is one step ahead. She sets the treehouse on fire while Daniel is inside. Daniel jumps out, but he falls and is badly injured. While he lies unconscious in the hospital, Esther sneaks in, attempting to smother him with a pillow. Max sees this and manages to sound the alarm, saving Daniel's life. Kate is now convinced beyond any doubt that Esther is dangerous. She begins digging into Esther's background. Contacting the orphanage, she tracks down information that leads her to the Sarn Institute, a psychiatric facility in Estonia. Speaking with doctors there, she learns the horrifying truth. Esther is not a child at all. She is a 33-year-old woman named Lena Klammer. Lena suffers from a rare hormonal disorder that stunts her physical growth, making her look like a 9-year-old girl. But behind her childlike appearance, she is a deeply disturbed and violent adult with a long history of deception and murder. She has posed as a child multiple times, joining families, seducing the fathers, and killing anyone who stood in her way. While Kate is learning this terrifying truth, Esther's behavior at home grows even more disturbing. She dresses provocatively, wearing makeup to look older. She tries to seduce John, touching him inappropriately and even attempting to kiss him. John is horrified, finally realizing that Kate was right all along. But before he can act, Esther stabs him to death in a fit of rage. Kate, desperate, rushes home after receiving confirmation from the institute. When she arrives, she finds John's lifeless body. Esther, still posing as an innocent little girl, tries to manipulate Kate, but her mask has finally slipped. A violent confrontation erupts. Esther attempts to kill Max, forcing Kate into a desperate fight to protect her daughter. The struggle spills outside onto a frozen pond. The ice cracks beneath them as they grapple. Esther pleads desperately, trying to convince Kate to let her live, insisting she can still be her daughter. But Kate sees through the lies. With a final act of strength, she kicks Esther, sending her sinking beneath the icy water. In the aftermath, Kate pulls Max to safety, holding her tightly as police and ambulances arrive. She is devastated by John's death and shaken by the nightmare they have endured, but she has protected her children and put an end to Esther's terrifying charade. The story closes with Kate and Max walking away from the chaos, leaving behind the horror of what Esther truly was.